Hey everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Vickie.
And we are the Drama Mamas.
Yeah, we are.
This week, we are taking on Fight Club.
Except we can't talk about it, so this is the end of the episode.
Right, as always, remember to save the drama.
For these mamas.
Just kidding. Boots and cats and boots and cats. So please silence your cell phones, viewer discretion is advised, and now your feature presentation. Fight Club is a 1999 American film. That is what Wikipedia told me. And I was really disappointed because, as you guys know, if you've been listening to us, Wikipedia has some pretty ridiculously long genres. Like, they had, I want to say, 5 genres listed to Rocky Horror Picture Show. And when you think about Fight Club, it's got a lot of themes. It's got a lot of stuff going on. So I was expecting something crazy. And it was like Wikipedia glitched out. And they're just like, it's 1999 film made in America. That's all we can say. It's based on the 1996 novel of the same name by Chuck Palahniuk. Palahniuk. That is not how I would have thought, but Palahniuk.
That's what the official fan site of him says. In hyphens. Palahniuk. Yeah.
The film was directed by David Fincher and stars Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, and Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes.
Who we like.
We do.
Whom we like.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter. Who is a subject? Whom is an object?
So, are you...
We like whom. Whom we like. Whom we like. It's whom. And if it's
Are you
not
calling
whom,
her an object? Are you objectifying her?
Object of the verb, and the verb is like.
So you are objectifying her.
The English language is objectifying her. And if I'm misusing that, don't correct me, I don't care. Norton plays the unnamed protagonist, referred to as the narrator, who is discontented with his white-collar job. He forms a fight club, quote-unquote, with some soap maker Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. Yes, it is. And they are joined by men who also want to fight recreationally. The narrator becomes embroiled in a relationship with Durden and dissolute woman Marla Singer, played by Bonham Carter.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chuck Palahniuk wrote the novel. He has a few credits on IMDb. Since Fight Club, he also wrote a novel that was made into a movie called Choke.
Which is a very good book. I've not watched the movie, but it's very good.
Vickie's read the book.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Zach bought it for me at the early stages of our relationship, which, looking back on the book's contents, I should probably have been a little bit concerned.
Maybe a little bit. Chuck is about a sex-addicted con man who pays for his mother's hospital bills by playing on the sympathies of those who rescue him from choking to death.
Yeah.
So Chuck Palahniuk is fucked up.
Yeah. He's pretty fucked up.
Jim Oles wrote the screenplay. He has 7 writing credits, and Fight Club is listed as his first screenplay.
Okay.
Since the only thing I know that I knew of that he had written was Jumper, and I only know it because Hayden Christensen stars in it.
Right.
And it's about people that can transport. No, that's not right. That's not the right word. Teleport, thank you. Everyone can transport, pretty much.
Except for people who are paraplegic.
Brad Pitt has 79 acting credits. He has been in a lot of shit, and I've seen a lot of his shit, which surprised me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Brad Pitt is known for his looks.
Yep.
But he's been in a lot of good movies. Before Fight Club, he was in some episodes of Dallas. He was in Thelma and Louise, which most people consider his big break. He was in Interview with a Vampire, 7.
Yes, he was.
7 is also a David Fincher movie, I believe.
Okay.
Legends of the Fall, 12 Monkeys, The Devil's Own, which is about the IRA. It's a guy who was in the IRA, and he's hiding, and he ends up in the house of a police officer who's played by Harrison Ford. I remember liking that movie, but it's been years, and it could really suck. I don't know. Meet Joe Black. He was in that, which I think we referenced because the girl in Mallrats, the one that played Brandy, is the love interest and one of the main characters in Meet Joe Black. So then he did Fight Club, and it was pretty popular. People liked it. Critics did not, but people did. Since Fight Club, he was in Ocean's 11 and the subsequent sequels, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, in which he stars with Angelina Jolie, and that had its own effects. I
think I read that they've split up now.
Well, they had filed for divorce, but I think they retracted. I usually am on top of Brad Pitt trivia, but after a while, I just kind of got tired of it. You're looking it up.
Yes, I am.
Questions need answers.
12 hours ago, AMP posted an article that's at the top says Gossip Cop, so it's probably not incredibly
This is legit
accurate.
news source.
Yeah. It says Angelina Jolie did not invite Brad Pitt to go trick-or-treating with kids.
Ugh. Why would she?
He's only 5'11".
That's not short.
I know.
You are such a height queen.
I'm sorry. I feel like 6 foot is tall.
Right, okay.
And anything,
that's your limit.
Anything shorter than 6 foot
is not tall.
Is not tall. That's not to say that it's short.
Isn't the average height of men at like 5'9"?
Probably. Zach's 5'10". So, probably.
Above average?
A little bit.
That's the rumor?
That's a little bit.
Anyway. He was in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
That makes it sound really bad. It makes it sound like Zach's sleeping around, and that's the rumor.
Or it could sound like you just talk about how endowed he is. Take from it what you will. Inglourious Bastards.
That's funny.
And World War Z.
Ooh, that was a good movie.
I did something different this time. I went to like quotes from the actor and searched for anything they might have said about this movie.
God, but he's pretty.
Oh God, he looks so good in this movie. He is cut.
It's not even just this movie. I'm still like looking at his images on Google, and I'm like, you have aged well.
Legends of the Fall is a movie that it's sad. It's like watching a Meryl Streep movie. Like it's sweeping romance and star-crossed lovers, but he's got like this long hair and he's like this free spirit.
Yeah.
And I dig it. I like that movie.
We should do like Meryl Streep movies.
Oh God. I recently watched Out of Africa like for the first time, and I like bawled my eyes out.
Which is not the same movie as Coming to America.
No, I can't remember if I left that in or not.
I don't remember either.
That might have been on one of our lost tracks.
I don't know. That's where I don't know, because that's why I was like, fuck you guys. I hate you both. Suck my balls.
Okay, so I didn't get any good quotes from him about Fight Club, but this did pop up. He did not think his parents would enjoy the film. But they were like, no, we support you. So in order to convince them not to see it, he showed them the scene with the chemical burn.
Oh.
To convince them not to watch it.
And did it convince them?
Yes. According to what I read, it did.
Okay. I thought maybe he would have showed them the scene where he's fucking Marla, but...
I think maybe he was trying to ease it. Like, maybe that was the nuclear option. You know what I mean? Like, if the chemical burn doesn't work.
He's like, no, really,
they weren't naked for that.
Watch this. They
were in motion capture. And, let's see. I hope I copied it, because there was some really interesting trivia on the way that they filmed that scene. But it was kind of, like, long, so I don't know if I copied it.
Okay.
Edward Norton has 40 IMDb credits. Fight Club is his 7th.
Okay.
So before, he was in Primal Fear, which is a Richard Gere movie where an altar boy is accused of murder. And it's good.
Sounds interesting.
It is good. It's one of those movies where you don't know. You don't know what the truth is. And it's hard to tell because there's just so many conflicting stories and conflicting evidence where you're just like, did he do it? Did
Yeah.
he not do it? You know what I mean? Like,
that sounds really...
keeps
it
you
sounds
guessing.
like my kind of movie.
It was good. I remember really liking it. He was in American History X, which I've never seen, but I know people talk about it.
I feel like I've seen it, but I'm not entirely
Apparently it's
certain.
about like a neo-Nazi who is trying to convince his brother not to go down that road.
Vaguely recall like somebody getting literally curb stomped, and I think it was from that movie. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember. It would have been longer.
Every time I hear the term curb stomp, it makes my teeth ache.
If you saw this movie, it would make your teeth ache really bad. If you had any teeth left. But that was pre-Zach, so it was a while time ago.
Way back. Since Fight Club, he was in Death to Smoochie, which I've never seen, but Luke loves that movie. Red Dragon, The Italian Job, which, if we do heist movies, we should watch that.
That'd be good.
I like heist movies. We should also do Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. The Incredible Hulk, he was Bruce Bannon, and recently he was in Birdman. So I did the same thing where I searched for quotes from him. Didn't really come up with anything, but I did come up with this. I think I actually have this twice, but during the filming of Fight Club, he and co-star Brad Pitt took soap making classes.
Okay.
Which I think is just like, when you imagine what that class probably looks like, and then you just imagine Brad Pitt and Edward Norton taking that class, it's funny,
I feel
right?
like they were probably making fucking jokes.
Oh, yeah.
They're just standing next to each other making soap, snickering about the ladies around them making soap.
I think it would be even funnier if they 100% took it seriously.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter has 93 credits on IMDb.
Yeah, she should.
And
Most
I felt
of them.
uncultured as shit because I didn't recognize, and she had a lot of credits before Fight Club, but I didn't recognize hardly any of them. She played Ophelia in an adaptation of Hamlet.
Okay.
She played in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which I think was like a BBC TV movie. She played Elizabeth, and I read Frankenstein in high school. I fucking hated every word of it, and I haven't retained any of it. Like I didn't enjoy my teacher.
I retained
Rory today told me, or it might have been Serenity. It's bad that I can't keep their story straight. One of them told me today that Frankenstein was their favorite because he wasn't human. He was made of stitches.
Oh.
And I was like, that is a very interesting way to describe it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have blood, she said. Which makes me think it was Rory. So since then, she has been in Planet of the Apes, the Mark Wahlberg one. When I typed that, I was like, people are going to think that people would assume the Charlton Heston one, and that's not it. It's just there's been those new ape movies.
So is this the one that came out in 2011?
No, it came out in like 2003. Like it's back in the day. Mark
Okay.
Wahlberg stars in it. It's literally just like a copy of the Charlton Heston film. All the new ones are about how the Earth became the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
So like have you seen any of them?
I saw the one in 2011 because Zach was like, "Hey, we're gonna go watch this movie."
Not Dave Franco, the real Franco, James Franco.
Stars in it.
Where like he's trying to cure Alzheimer's and they're testing on apes and that's what's giving them the intelligent was the Alzheimer's drug.
I think so.
It's really good. I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, he was like, "Let's go watch this," and I was like, I really don't want to. And he was like, "No, come on." And when we were walking out of the theater, it made me cry.
Mm-hmm. It was
and
good.
I was like, "That was such a good movie." And he was like, "I thought you weren't gonna like it." And I was like, "Shut up! Don't correct me."
You know, we talked about no middle ground in the last episode.
Yes.
You want to talk about no middle ground? James Franco movies are either really, really good
or
the worst possible thing ever.
Yeah.
Except his role in Never Been Kissed. He's like, he just has like one line. He's falling on the popular guy. He's just like, "That's so Rufus."
I don't even remember.
That's his only line in the whole movie.
I don't even remember him being in that movie.
I've watched that movie a lot. we ever do
I watched
rom-coms,
it
we're going to watch
recently.
the shit out of that movie.
Okay.
Okay. So she was in Henry VIII, the TV movie. She played Anne Boleyn. She was in Big Fish, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Corpse Bride. She was in the Harry Potter series.
Yes.
Little known fact.
Little known.
She was in Sweeney Todd, Alice in Wonderland, Great Expectations, Les Mis, and Cinderella.
Yes.
So she's really hit her stride.
Well, Tim Burton is her... They're not together now, unless they've reconciled, and I have not gotten the memo. But they were together for many years. They have children together, and that's a lot of his movies she's in.
Yes, and a lot of his movies, Johnny Depp kills her.
Yeah, they've got some animosity.
I hope that he's talked to a professional about that. Tim Burton.
Well, I mean, they've broken up.
Yeah, but they were together when that stuff happened.
I know, but maybe that's why they've broken up. Maybe he talked to a professional.
This movie was made in 1999, and we covered trivia on that year in the Office Space episode. So you're welcome to go back if you want to relive 1999. If you want to party like it's 1999.
There you go.
Some trivia about the movie. When a Fight Club member sprays the priest with a hose, the camera briefly shakes. This happens because the cameraman couldn't keep himself from laughing. And it's a funny scene where he keeps like spraying the priest because they were supposed to go out, pick a fight, and lose a fight.
Yeah, and lose a fight. And he had tried to spray somebody, and they just
kept going. And it was like a big guy too. He's just like, fuck that.
And then he sprays the priest, and then he keeps spraying the priest, and then he sprays the Bible.
Yes, he knocks the Bible out of his hand, and then he sprays it. In the short scene where Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are drunk and hitting golf balls, they are really drunk, and the golf balls are sailing directly into the side of the catering truck. When the narrator hits Tyler Durden in the air, Edward Norton actually did hit Brad Pitt in the ear. He was originally going to fake hit him, but before the scene, David Fincher pulled him to the side and told him to hit him in the ear. After Norton did so, in the scene, you can see him smiling and laughing while Pitt is in pain. It's just the spark of a
That's hilarious.
Bromance, budding bromance. The original Pillow Talk scene had Marla saying, "I want to have your abortion." When this was objected by Fox 2000 Pictures president of production, Laura Ziskin, David Fincher said he would change it on the promise that the new line couldn't be cut.
Ooh.
So Ziskin agreed, and Fincher wrote the replacement line, "I haven't been fucked like that since grade school." When Ziskin saw the new line, she was even more outraged and asked for the original one to be put back, but as per their deal, Fincher refused.
That's one way to get what you want.
Right? That line is a line that sticks out where you're just like, what did she just say? Holy shit.
One way to get what you want.
Yes, Courtney Love and Winona Ryder were both initially considered for the role of Marla. But in the end, it came down to Helena Bonham Carter or Reese Witherspoon.
Ooh, no way.
Director David Fincher.
I could see, who's the first name you said?
Courtney Love?
Yeah, I could see Courtney Love.
I think Winona Ryder could have done it too.
Winona Ryder could have done it. Mm-hmm. She does that dark look very well. Mm-hmm. I don't think she looks like enough of a crackhead.
Director David Fincher wanted Bonham Carter, but the studio wanted a bigger name and chose to go with Witherspoon. In the end, however, the decision was taken out of their hands when Witherspoon turned down the role as being too dark. Also, this was later on in the trivia, but Sarah Michelle Gellar was interested in the role, but she was locked into her Buffy contract.
Huh. That would have made for an interesting...
She's so much younger.
...take.
I mean, she's definitely younger than Helena Bonham Carter. And I feel like...
Yeah.
I don't know. That would have been odd. She did Cruel Intentions, and she played Dark and Twisted well. Yeah.
She did.
But it was like Rich Girl Dark and Twisted.
Yeah.
This is not that.
No, this is cracked out.
Yeah.
Not like junky cracked out, but she looks like she could be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't see her
She seems like a person who doesn't have an addictive personality, but does things that addicts do.
Yeah. Like, she's not an addict. She can stop whenever she wants.
She just doesn't want to.
She just doesn't want to.
Brad Pitt wasn't overly interested in making the film until David Fincher arrived on his doorstep during the making of Meet Joe Black, insisting that they go for a beer. It was over that beer that Fincher pitched Fight Club, and Pitt agreed to read the screenplay. Now, I thought this was interesting because I remember in an interview he told a story about Inglourious Basterds. Mm-hmm. In Inglourious Basterds, Quentin Tarantino met with Brad Pitt at the Chateau Miraval in France, where he lived with Angelina Jolie. Mm-hmm. They talked about Brad Pitt playing the role of Aldo Rain over the course of a night and 5 bottles of the estate's own Pink Floyd Rosé, and he accepted the role. So basically the key to get Brad Pitt to do whatever you want is alcohol.
Yeah.
And that is valuable information, my friends.
That is valuable information because he is still a looker.
Yeah, he is now he's a silver fox. He's not that old, but like he's got the gray.
He's graying.
He's rocking that gray.
He's not rocking it.
All right, so that is all my trivia.
Your trivia?
Yeah.
Your
boy.
Education?
Now we're going to talk about the actual film and our thoughts on it.
Yes.
So let's give a summary of the film. Even though, watch the film. Watch the movie. Stop what you're doing if you haven't seen it. Go watch the movie. Because you need to see it before you
By the time this episode airs, we would have told you approximately 7 weeks ago to watch this movie.
Watch the damn movie. And we sent a list out like, hey... Yeah. Just in case. We know you love listening to us. And we like to talk about stuff you've seen. So go watch this shit.
Watch it. So you're on the same page.
So we have an unnamed main character.
Yes.
Who is suffering from insomnia. And not happy with his life. The narrator is...
Edward Norton,
yeah. And he's just going through life, and he meets a guy on a plane, goes home, his apartment blows up, and he ends up living with this guy.
Yeah, but first, he's an insomniac. He's going to all these...
He found a cure for his insomnia.
Meetings, yeah.
Like, he would go, because the doctor's like, oh, you think you're in pain. You want to see real pain. Go to this meeting.
Testicular cancer.
So they just assume he has testicular cancer because he's there. And they cry, Bob cries on his shoulder, and he gets catharsis letting loose and crying with him.
Crying into Bob's big, beautiful tits.
Yeah, his bitch tits. So, and then he sleeps like a baby.
But so no crying.
Does he, though? Does he sleep?
No sleep. You know?
That's a question that I have that was not fully answered.
That's a question. Because if he was, how would we have ever gotten to the inciting incident?
Yes. So, he ends up living with Tyler. Marla ruins his... grief therapy because she's also a fake, and I love the self-righteousness he has about it.
Yeah, he's like, no, you're a faker.
Yeah, like you're not sick.
Be here. This is mine.
Yes. So she ruins it for him. He can't sleep anymore, and so he ends up living with Tyler. They go out one night, and Tyler tells him to hit him. They start hitting each other, and they really get something out of it. Yes. And then it becomes this thing. It becomes Fight Club. Yes. And the bigger it gets, the crazier Tyler gets about it. Yes. And then it starts morphing into this terrorist organization. Meanwhile, Tyler starts fucking Marla, which our narrator is not happy about, but he cannot be honest with himself about it.
Right.
And she's acting really weird around him.
Super weird.
Yes. And then the terrorism group gets way out of hand. He starts trying to stop it.
Yes.
And they all start calling him Tyler. And he's like, why are they calling me Tyler?
Mr. Durden.
Yeah. And then Tyler's just like, I think you know why. And we learn that Tyler Durden is
Tyler Durden.
Yeah, he is the narrator. They are one and the same. This has been an alternate personality that has begun to take over.
Yes.
And so he has to kill that personality.
Yes.
And he does, but not in time to save the buildings that have been blown up by Project Mayhem, which is the terrorist group that Fight Club became.
Right.
So that's basically the story.
Ended up like this. I had seen the movie before. Mm-hmm. Most of the movie. But this is the first time that I completed it. Last time I watched it, there's a scene where they're driving down the interstate or whatever, and there's something about eating meat or killing animals or something on the license plate. And at that time in my life, I must have been around 16 or 17 because I fancied myself a vegetarian, and I refused to watch any more of the movie. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't care. I'm not watching any more of this. Now, though, I'm like, give me burgers. Give me steak.
Like, I was munching on bacon chicken? While watching it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But 16 and or 17-year-old me was much more self-righteous.
That's hard to believe.
I know. I'm pretty self-righteous.
So.
Because I'm right.
All the time.
Most of the time.
All day, every day.
Most days.
So, this is a movie, much like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, that, like, every time I watch it, I notice new things. And there's a lot of, like, subliminal things that are put in that, like, you may not catch it the first few watch throughs, and then suddenly you're like, was that a flash of Tyler Durden?
Wait a second, what?
Yeah, it was very interesting to rewatch it again. Like, I'd seen the movie several times, but it's been years since I've watched it.
Right.
And I was actually frustrated having to take notes while watching it because I didn't want to forget the things I had
to watch.
Yes, but you can miss something that is, foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I knew what was coming.
Like
I think most people do.
Yeah,
but like I knew what was coming, and I was looking for all the signs.
Yeah, well, I took some notes about the signs.
The narrator has a lot of really interesting phrases, and I didn't write any of them down, and I did search in the quotes, but I wasn't finding what I was looking for. But like, especially at the beginning of the film, like, there's a lot of things that he says that are just really interesting.
Yeah. And
then
I thought it was really sad.
We start at the end. Like, there's a gun in his mouth. That's where we start. And which is always, it feels cheap, like, as someone who writes and listens to people who know what the fuck they're doing when they write, they generally are just like, doing the whole flashback thing is cheap. But I think it really works because
in this movie, I feel like it does, especially.
Yeah, because you know where you're headed, and it's kind of a wild ride getting there. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like, I like movies that do this where by the time you're there, by the time you're back where you started, you've forgotten where you started. Yeah. Because by the time you're back in that room,
because it's fucking 2.5 hours later. You're like, oh wait,
but it's
we did start here.
It's a good 2.5 hours.
It is. It's not bad.
It's not poorly paced or anything.
No. So I don't feel like they could have made it shorter.
This is our second Meatloaf film.
It is. So I noticed his name in the credits.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, he was Bob.
No, his name was Robert Paulson.
I just realized who he was. I was gonna say
he was wearing a fat suit that was made of birdseed, so it would like hang properly. Okay. And it weighed like 100 pounds.
Holy cow.
Yep.
So I love Meatloaf. Mm-hmm. This makes so much sense now that I've put together who he actually played. And I was like, oh shit. When I saw his name in the credits, I was like, I really dig Meatloaf. The person, not the dish.
I don't know. Well-made meatloaf is not too bad.
There was a time that I asked my mother to make me meatloaf.
Not when you were 16 or 17.
Not when I was 16 or 17. When I was like 22 and we still had a relationship.
Ah, okay.
I was like,
those days.
I was like, Mom, will you please make, because Zach was working swing shifts and he doesn't eat broccoli and he doesn't eat ground beef. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Sage was a baby, so he wasn't eating. And I was like, Mom, will you please make me some meatloaf and some broccoli and cheese and some mashed potatoes? And she did, because she's not consistently a shitty person. but it was consistently
She likes
enough.
to lull you into a false sense of security.
It was consistently enough that I was like, okay, I'm done.
The arc of the narrator, like...
I don't even know where I was going. Oh, I love Meatloaf. And I was like, who is he in this movie? And obviously it just dawned on me that he was
Bitch
Robert
Tits
Paulson.
Bob. Yep.
Yep.
The arc of the narrator is interesting to me because, like, in the beginning, they do a pan of his apartment. And it literally, like, I don't know if you've ever looked at IKEA's website or their catalogs. But the pan that they do where they are naming everything and the price and all these things, it looks exactly like a catalog from IKEA. Because what they'll do is they'll show a picture of a room and then, like, they'll point out all the things and what they're called. And
they can't see me nod my head.
But it was like, it looks exactly like the spread in IKEA. And I just thought that it was interesting. And the fact that he had all that IKEA stuff and then he, like, becomes this anarchist that's really against corporations and consumerism.
Yeah.
So he's blacking out, which I think is our first clue to the alternate personality thing, because he goes to the doctor and he's saying that he has insomnia, and he's just like, you can't die from insomnia, which, by the way, you can.
Right.
But he's like, what about narcolepsy? Which is the opposite of insomnia, because he said he was losing time. Right. And so that's kind of our first bit of foreshadowing. I mean, there's probably something before that, but that was the first thing where I was just like, oh, this was foreshadowing.
That's interesting because I didn't notice until a bit later the foreshadowing. Like, I knew what was coming, despite... He said that who doesn't know what's coming?
He would black out and just wake up in random places. And I was just like, ooh, ding, ding,
I missed that completely.
In group therapy... because the guy's like, oh, you want to see real pain? Go to group therapy.
Yeah.
In the group therapy, I saw my first flash of Tyler. Now, that is not to say that's the first one in the film, but they are showing, like, the group leader, and you're kind of, like, behind. I think you're behind the narrator, the point of view is, and there's just, like, a flash of Tyler standing by the group leader. So the narrator has this really interesting line. I can't remember if it's interesting or funny. But I wrote it down, so it's one of those two things.
Okay.
Bob loved me because he thought my testicles were removed too. Being there, pressed against his tits, ready to cry. This was my vacation, and she ruined everything.
Yeah.
So Marla enters the scene. This is cancer, right? This chick, Marla Singer, did not have testicular cancer. She was a liar. She had no diseases at all. I had seen her at Free and Clear, my blood parasite group, Thursdays. Then at Hope, my bi-monthly sickle cell circle. Sickle cell anemia.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Edward Norton is incapable of having that.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was either only African American or mostly.
I believe only. And sickle cell anemia is like a natural defense to malaria.
Yeah.
I believe it's only, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not confident enough in myself to say either way, but...
And again, it sees the day, my tuberculosis Friday night. Marla, the big tourist. Her lie reflected my lie. Suddenly I felt nothing. I couldn't cry, so once again, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And then we also get a flash of Tyler as he's watching Marla walk away. There's another flash of Tyler.
I'm going to have to watch this movie again and, like, watch for flashes of Tyler because I didn't catch him until the freaking plane.
Yeah, I'm sure that I didn't catch them all, but those are two, and those were, like, pretty close together.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. The narrator says Marla's philosophy of life is that she might die at any moment, and the tragedy, she said, was that she didn't. So, like, high school.
Yeah.
To me, like, I went to high school with people that probably thought that way.
We went to high school in the 2004
emo rock
to 2010 era.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was pretty... It was full-on emo shit.
Right. So, Tyler, we see him pass on the walk. It's not an escalator because it's not escalating, but the like walkway that moves,
Yeah.
he passes the narrator.
The
And he's
moveway.
not even a flash. Like, this is legit. He's just like leaning, passing him.
Yeah.
And then he's on the plane, which is strange because the narrator is talking to someone about his job.
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up, it's Tyler.
Yeah. I noticed that. I was like, wait, that's not the same guy that was sitting.
It was a woman.
Oh, I didn't.
Like, I'm 99% sure it was like a woman of color. And then it's Tyler Durden.
They notice that they have the same luggage.
Yes, they have the same briefcase, which I thought was probably foreshadowing Deuce. I recently, so I hadn't seen this movie in several years. And one of the fan sites that I follow was just like, just a friendly reminder that these three people are the same person. And it was Marla, Tyler, and the narrator. And I'm like, no, Marla's a real person.
Yeah, I don't feel like Marla's separate.
So when I was watching this, I was looking to see if I could figure out if Marla was real or not. And I feel confident that Marla is a real person.
I didn't get any vibe that she was not.
Yeah.
If anything, if you were going to put Marla into this, she's not just an innocent bystander who got caught up. Mm-hmm. If anything, I would say she's a therapist or psychiatrist.
If she wasn't if she was not as the narrator interprets her.
Yeah.
Just like Tyler isn't.
Right.
Then she would be his therapist.
Yeah, because
she's pretty fucked up.
She is fucked up. But I think it's like where you talk to someone that you can relate to, and then they help you see that there's a problem, and she's like, you know, I think she said Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Jekyll, like you're two sides of the same coin. You're not even Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, but the problem with that is Mr. Hyde was the bad one.
Well, right.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And then, you know, when he's urging her to leave, you're in danger, leave. It's because the reason she's in danger is because she knows too much. She knows that there's something wrong there mentally, and she's on the verge of making one of them go away. But I don't feel like she actually is a therapist. I'm saying if you were going to read into the movie that everything is something else.
Tyler talks about making explosives. Like, he tells him he makes soap, and then he tells him that so much of what goes into soap.
He's like, fun fact.
Yeah. And then immediately afterwards, the narrator's house explodes.
Yes.
Which is, I think, hint number 3. That things are interwoven. Brad Pitt and eating in movies. When he calls him on the phone, he's eating. And have you ever seen Ocean's 11? Okay, it's been a while since I've seen it, but as I recall, almost every scene that he is in, he is eating on something crunchy. And I'm like, bro, like, was this written in, or do you just like...
Do you just like crunchy snacks?
I think he just works out so much he has to constantly eat.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, it pays off.
Right? Worth it. So he's just constantly eating. Tyler and Marla smoke, but the narrator does not. Like, they both, I think, offer him a cigarette, and he declines.
He's like, no. Tyler
is a night owl. Yes. He splices porn into films at the theater at night, and has a... So, he works a night job, doesn't sleep a lot, which could be hint number 4.
Could be.
He also has a job at a restaurant. So I'm thinking that when he starts sleeping after going to group therapy is when Tyler starts getting these night jobs.
Yeah, because, you know, as we find out, he's not sleeping.
Exactly. Fight Club is born because men are weird in parking lots.
So if Fight Club was a real thing, like... Not so much once it goes into domestic terrorism.
Right.
But when it's just fucking hitting people. And
being hit.
I would be in that. I would join that club because there's so often, it's probably bad to admit, so frequently I just feel this intense rage, and I'm like, I wish somebody would fucking do something that would give me a reason to hit them. And it's been especially awful since I turned 18, because you can't just hit people.
Right.
You'll catch a charge. But if there was a club where I could just, like, hit people, and I don't mean, like, boxing.
No,
like,
just
I fucking want to knock somebody's nose off their face.
I do not have those urges.
Well, it's good to know that it's not normal.
I do have extreme frustration, but...
No, I get, like, deep rage, and I just want to fucking hit people. And it's not even, like, any specific person. It's just fucking anybody.
See, I think, Vickie, you are aggressive. I am passive-aggressive. I wish people would get cancer. But I don't actually want to hit cancer into them. Like, I just wish bad things for people.
I feel like I can be aggressive.
I want them to, like, run over a screw or step on a Lego.
No, I just want to fucking punch them.
I want Taco Bell to mess up their order. That's the things that I wish on people.
When Taco Bell gives me crunchy tacos instead of soft tacos, it makes me so angry. It makes me mad enough.
Have they ever given you a Doritos Locos taco instead of a soft taco?
No, those bastards. I'd be down with that.
Yeah. I haven't had one of those in so long.
Oh, they're so tasty.
Those
we
carbs.
should fucking make a Taco Bell run. Let's do it.
You know what? After midnight, I'm totally down. All right, so Tyler's house is gross.
Taco Bell.
Right? Well, I stop at midnight, so I think I can start at midnight. That seems fair.
Yeah. 24 hours.
Hell yeah.
What up, carb day?
Tyler's house is super gross.
Yes.
And Fight Club is quickly growing because men.
And Vickie.
And Vickie.
And people
He
like
says
Vickie.
It's a club for men. He specifically says that. Because Mario's just like, oh, you found something better?
Yeah, he's like, it's a club for men. She's like, what? Like the testicle thing?
Yeah. So Tyler says that my dad never went to college, so it was real important that I go. And the narrator's like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
No shit.
There's another clue.
Yep. Tyler says, so I graduate. I call him up long distance. I say, Dad, now what? He says, get a job. Narrator, same here. Yeah. Tyler, now I'm 25, making my yearly call again. I say, Dad, now what? He says, I don't know. Get married. Narrator, I can't get married. I'm a 30-year-old boy. Tyler, we're a generation of men raised by women. I'm wondering if another woman is really the answer we need. So this character...
We're a generation of men raised by women. Mm-hmm. So why are you calling up your dad? Your dad wasn't around. Fuck your dad. Fuck what he says.
Well, he didn't go to college.
Listen to your mom.
So maybe he was just an absent dad. Maybe he worked nights at a plant.
Could be.
Slept during the day.
Could be.
Maybe he's a deadbeat.
Came back into his life after the child support wasn't going to come out anymore. The kid turned 18. He was like, hey, go to college.
You do you. So this guy...
You don't do you. You do me.
You do what I wanted to have done in retrospect.
Yes.
So this guy doesn't have any lines that I know of. But when they go to the bar that they fight in the bottom of...
Yes.
The guy that lets them in has the most epic sideburns.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I typed sideburns at the bar, man, all caps, sideburns at the bar, because it was just like these mutton chops, like they were.
How
epic.
did I miss so much? I feel like I'm just gonna rewatch this movie several times.
So we learned the rules of Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is that you do not talk about Fight Club.
The second rule of Fight Club is that you do not talk about Fight Club.
The third rule of Fight Club: someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out, the fight is over. The fourth rule: only 2 guys to a fight. Fifth rule: 1 fight at a time, fellas. Sixth rule: no shirts, no shoes, which Robert Paulson does not adhere to because his fat suit needed a shirt. Seventh rule: fights will go on as long as they have to. And the eighth and final rule: if this is your first time at Fight Club, you have to fight.
Which is a good rule because you're not going to turn them into the police because you incriminate yourself.
Mm-hmm. At this point in the movie, the narrator has picked up smoking.
Yes.
Which I feel is a sign. Like, once you know that he and Tyler are the same person, I think it's a sign of how much
Tyler is taking over.
Yes. Because he didn't just say no. He said no with, like, a wrinkled nose. Just
he's like, ew, no.
Tyler Durden has a really great line, which is it might be my favorite line in the whole movie. Self-improvement is masturbation. Now, self-destruction, which is the opposite of self-improvement. So what's the opposite of masturbation? Would it be sex? Would it be...
abstinence?
Abstinence?
Celibacy?
Impotence?
I don't know.
Death? I just thought it was interesting. I was thinking about it.
This is nothing to do with the movie. But I said death, and then death becomes her popped into my head. Mm-hmm. And because we're talking about masturbation, I was like, death becomes her.
Nice.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Super mature, yeah. 26.
Brad Pitt is super cut in this movie.
Yes, he is, as we have said.
Because he's got those low-slung jeans on, and he's completely shirtless. Yep. And
I don't remember anything that happened in that scene.
I think people were talking. I don't know.
I don't remember.
It was just like, I got tunnel vision.
Yeah, you're just like, oh.
Got like this buzzing in my ears. It was strange.
Abs. That's all you could see. You were just abs.
Just all of those rippling... oily muscles.
Yes, dude.
Jesus.
I'm with you.
Then they have the weirdest sex scene ever.
It was really uncomfortable.
Yes.
It was really okay, but the only thing that made, like, the only other uncomfortable scene that beats that one is when the narrator realizes it was him fucking Marla the whole time, and it flashes back to that because... Brad Pitt does a better job at not having an awkward face.
Well, he's got Brad Pitt face.
Yeah.
Marla is upset that he doesn't know why she's there, which I think is hint number 5.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, what are you doing here? And she's like, the fuck do you mean?
She's like, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
His dick was just inside her. What does he think she was there for?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in my notes, I put, Marla's at the house. This is where you start seeing that Tyler is a bit out of his gourd. That's when I started catching on.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Tyler does not want the narrator to tell Marla about him under any circumstances. He's very adamant about that.
Yeah. And
Marla asks who he's talking to when he's talking to Tyler's downstairs, and he's got the door open, and he's talking to Tyler, and Tyler's like, don't tell her about me. Don't say anything about me.
Don't say anything.
She's like, who are you talking to?
Get rid of her.
So that's hint number 6 in my book. Like I said, there's probably more, but this is just my notes.
The narrator says Tyler and Marla are never in the same room together except when having sex.
Yes, and he says my parents pulled the exact same act for years, which is a really good cover for why he would notice that.
Yeah. But not accept that.
But not think about it anymore. Yeah. And he's like, my parents pulled that exact same act for years. And my note was, no, they didn't. I promise. Not the same.
No. Did you forget to silence your phones?
It's an alarm, so it transcends silence.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because you're kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, silence your phones.
That's your line. Why would you forget? So then the arson investigator calls him and lets him know that his apartment was blown up with homemade dynamite.
Yeah. And he's like, huh, that's strange.
Marla says, you're such a nutcase, I can't even begin to keep up.
Yeah. Which is another hint.
Yes. Hint number 7. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, so this is when they go get the human fat.
Yes.
Which, by the way, would never in a million years be in a dumpster.
No.
That is medical waste. And it has a specific channel through which to be disposed of. So there's no possible way that it would be in a dumpster.
But I did like the bit afterwards, after they'd made the soap and they were selling it at the fancy boutique.
Mm-hmm.
Back to them. Yeah, and they were like, oh, we're selling rich people their own fat.
I wondered, you remember the scene toward the beginning of the movie where he's looking at the burned out car and the guy he's with points out that the dad must have been hefty because you can see the fat melted into the seat.
Oh.
I just wonder if that feeds into it all, his idea. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit sick right now, so if you see, you're not going to see anything. If you hear some throat clearing and some coughing, it's because I couldn't contain myself. I've been trying really hard to hold out for, like, pauses, but sometimes it's just gotta happen.
I wonder if he got the idea for using human fat in the soap from that.
Could be.
It just, like, popped into my head when they were getting the liposuction stuff.
Could be. It was really gross when they broke the bag on the fence.
Yes, it was super gross.
I was like, oh, that's nasty.
So then we have the chemical burn scene.
Yes.
Which is really hard to watch.
Yes.
Tyler, as he's burning, the narrator has the same burn on the same hand.
Yes.
Which is, in my book, hint number 8. I don't know why I'm holding up fingers. You're the only one that can see it.
I don't know. I just assume that you're talking with your hands.
I do that.
I do too.
So we have another Gun in the Office reference.
Yeah.
This is when his boss finds the sheet that has the rules of Fight Club printed.
Yeah. Bruh, Tyler doesn't like old yellow tie dude, does he? His boss, because he was wearing that fucking yellow tie.
Yeah.
And
he does not.
He does not like him.
He gives a speech, and in it, he says something about shooting up the office.
Yes.
And I can't remember if we were recording or not. But
he's like, you better get rid of this.
Well, the studio did not want that to be in the movie. They didn't like that line. But in test audiences, it got a huge laugh, and people liked it. Then Columbine happened.
Right.
And test audiences did not like the line, but they left it in anyway.
Right. And now there are so many shootings that we're just like immune. Yeah.
Tyler's words coming out of my mouth. That's a line by the narrator. Mm-hmm. Right after he tells the boss off.
Yeah.
Which I count as hint number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler's words have been coming out of your mouth for a while now, bro.
Yep. In fact, every word.
Bob runs into the narrator and does not keep quiet about Fight Club.
No.
Like, rules number 1 and 2, bro.
Yeah.
But no, they connect over it.
Yes.
The narrator fighting himself is the best.
Oh, when he wrecks himself in his boss's office?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That is such a great scene. It won like a award for MTV, like, you know, the MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah.
It's like the best fight scene that year was him fighting with himself.
It was an intense fight. He says it reminds him of his first fight with Tyler.
Hint number
which is
10.
Another hint because it was his first fight with himself.
Yes. Fight Club mayhem ensues. This is when it starts to morph into something more. This is when they start doing, like, weird pranks.
Yeah.
And then it just starts, like, snowballing.
Escalating. Yeah. Snowballing.
The narrator is nicer to Marla. Like, he's a bit softer to her than he has been.
Yeah.
He almost talks to her about Tyler.
Yes.
And she looks like she's starting to connect the dots. Like,
yeah, she's like, there's something fucked up here.
Yeah, and I wrote down hint number 11, but I don't have a specific reason why. But something about that scene had me like, this is foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So Fight Club officially becomes Project Mayhem.
Yes.
The narrator is starting to feel left out and replaced. And he almost kills the blonde kid, who, by the way, is Jared fucking Leto.
Yeah.
He must have the best agent in the world, because he's in a ton of movies for like a second and gets billing for it.
Yeah. They start the thing where they have the members lodging with them, but they have to go through the 3 days of torment, no food, no shelter, nothing on the porch. The first mean thing that Tyler says to Bob, Bob's like, okay, I'm leaving. And then the narrator is like, hey, Bob, no, wait. Which
has got to be weird.
It's got to be weird because Bob's just like, you're...
Well, they're all living with him.
Right.
Like, they all have to know something is up.
Right.
Especially, like...
No, I'll say that.
The first official Project Mayhem thing was that smiley face in the office. And he's just like, what did you guys do? And they're all looking at each other like, what do you mean, what did you do?
And then they just laugh.
Yeah.
They laugh it off.
And if you don't know that Tyler is the narrator, it seems like they're laughing at him for being left out. Yeah. Because he's already got that insecurity. Right. And so, like, it's totally plausible that they're just like, this fucking, like, square.
Right. Like, why would we share anything with you? You're
exactly. Like, the first rule of Project Mayhem is you don't ask questions. Yeah. So, Tyler and the narrator fight. Yeah. And in the car, and the Project Mayhemers in the back are like, they look completely confused about what's going on,
which makes sense.
Total sense, because what the fuck. And then Tyler, they wreck, and the narrator gets hurt, and he's asleep for several days. Tyler being gone, because when he wakes up, Tyler's gone, and he's interacting with the Project Mayhem.
Oh, we skipped them killing Bob, and I feel like that's important.
That hasn't happened yet, has it? I wrote his name is Robert Paulson. Oh, this is right before.
Okay.
Or no.
I was going to say Tyler
and the narrator fight. No, it's right after this. Okay. So the narrator says, Tyler's not here. Tyler went away. Tyler's gone. And somehow Tyler not being there is more disturbing to me. Like... the way that everyone interacts with the narrator, the way, the attitude, the tension in the air, it's like worse than when he's there causing chaos. You know what I mean? Like, it's just unsettling.
Well, he's already done so much. Uh-huh. And so when the narrator comes out of his stupor, Tyler's gone away. And he's trying to piece it together. It's really...
there's a huge piece of the puzzle missing.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
Marla shows up.
Yes.
And she is totally freaked out.
Yes.
And then she leaves almost immediately. And I put hint number 12. But again, I didn't list the specific thing where I was just like, this is foreshadowing. But something in that scene. Now Bob dies. And
it's really bummed me out.
Then he's just like, his name was Robert Paulson. And this guy, this is the thing with like leaders of cultish groups. They will say these things and people will assign a meaning to it. So he's just like, no. His name was Robert Paulson. Like, he was a person. Yeah. And the narrator just cares about Bob because they connected. Right. And he's just like, no, this is not some nameless soldier in this war on consumerism. This was a man. He had a life. His name was Robert Paulson. And this guy is just like, no, I get it. We don't have names in Project Mayhem.
But when we die...
Right. We become, and so they're just like, yeah, his name was Robert Paulson, and
it becomes a
they assign this meaning to it.
Yeah,
when he was power. That's not what he was saying at all.
No, he was just.
They were reading it as if Tyler had said it.
Right.
Because Tyler would have used that moment
to be like,
yes, yeah, as kindling for his next movement.
And then he's like, bury him in the backyard.
Yes. So the narrator visits all the places that Tyler has been. No, Tyler's still missing. That's why
I was pretty sure Tyler was there in that scene because Tyler's the one who's like bury him in the backyard, wasn't he?
I don't think so, because then he starts going and looking through all the things, and he finds all those ticket stubs from where he's been flying all over the place.
That's true.
And so he starts going, and he's just like,
in this movie that it's hard at times to remember when something happened.
It's funny because he's just like, it's like a sense of deja vu. It's like, I know Tyler so well that when I get in these places, I know exactly where Fight Club would be. Yeah, bitch, because you set it up, bro.
Right.
And So he learns, people keep calling him Tyler, Mr. Durden, and Sir. And so the narrator finds out, he realizes that he is Tyler.
Yeah.
And he starts to try to undo Project Mayhem.
Which
and it's not going well.
Yeah.
Marla says that he's too crazy for her. And can we just reflect for a second about how crazy that must be?
Because she's crazy.
She's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The narrator almost loses his balls because he goes to the police to turn himself in. And they're just like, you said this might happen and we should do this.
And then he says something. They're like, that's exactly what you said you'd say.
Yeah. And
you said you'd say that too. You said you'd definitely say that.
Yeah. So, like, he almost loses his balls, but he gets out. Mayhem is fucking everywhere. They're in the restaurants.
Dude, is anybody other than that detective not in Fight Club?
And his boss.
Yep,
that's it.
His boss can't be in Fight Club because he hates him.
Right. So the narrator goes to the building. Well, he doesn't go to a building that's set to blow because it doesn't blow up. Or he does go to a building that's set to blow, and then Tyler brings him to a building to watch. That confused me, but I got it now. So what he's doing is he's blowing up buildings to clear people's debt?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's saying...
In a post-internet world,
yeah,
I don't think that would work.
Because we're paperless now. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
But given this is 1999, we're still thinking Y2K.
They might have been converting
maybe
to digital.
And so we'll say in this specific movie that this is probably logical.
Right.
It's post everything being paperless. It's post everything being wireless. Mm-hmm. So maybe destroying the building, it still doesn't make sense because they'd have records somewhere.
It's about making a splash more than anything, I think.
Whatever.
Tyler and the narrator fight, but Tyler is not getting hurt.
Yes.
Only the narrator is. So Tyler has brought Marla as a prisoner. Like, the Project Mayhem people bring her in. And the narrator starts to figure out the rules of how this really works.
Yes.
And he threatens suicide.
Yes. He's like, you don't have a gun. I have the gun.
Yes. So the narrator's like, I want you to listen to me very carefully, Tyler. And Tyler says, okay. And he says, my eyes are open. And then he puts the gun in his mouth and pulls the trigger.
Yes.
So he does kill Tyler.
Yes.
He takes over Project Mayhem. He saves Marla.
Yes.
But they watch the buildings blow up together. He did not actually stop the buildings from being blown up.
Well, he didn't have time.
Mm.
There were several things that I appreciated in this movie that we didn't hit on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good because we were doing the run through.
Mm.
So it's fine. I really dug the intro music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, but I was like, I dig this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Starbucks, I only noticed it in that first scene. It was very blatantly there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to see if Brad Pitt was in the Robert Paulson scene, and it popped up with 19 little known facts. And the first one was that the director claims that there's a Starbucks cup in every single scene except for the one where they destroy a coffee chain, which, by the way, was not Starbucks.
Right. They wanted it to be Starbucks, but Starbucks was like, no. Like, we're okay with being in your really fucked up film, but we don't want to be blown up or anything.
Yeah, no, you can't destroy us. We're not one of the corporations you're allowed to destroy.
Exactly.
And then when he's at the cancer thing and Chloe starts talking, I was like, damn, Chloe really needs some dick in her life.
Right? She's thirsty.
Like, somebody give her a pity fuck. Like, damn, she just wants to get laid one more time.
That would be like a really weird service. Like,
yeah.
End of life. Gigolos.
Did I catch that a dildo stopped him from getting his luggage, the narrator? Because there was something vibrating.
They said that 9 times out of 10 it's an electric razor, and the other time it's a dildo.
Okay. His apartment explodes. His fridge is on the ground. for some reason. It exploded out, but no other floors were damaged, but whatever. And he says, how sad, a house full of condiments with no food. Which I thought was...
funny.
I mean, there are a lot of times, and it's not because we don't have food, but my fridge will look like all we have is condiments because all the food we have is stuff you have to cook.
Right.
When the house does burn down, I thought it was interesting that Marla's phone number, like the rest of the paper around it, was burnt, but her number was saved.
Also, she calls the house.
Yeah.
And I thought she said, I got your forwarding number. But according to, I want to say IMDb, she says you gave me your forwarding number. But he gave her a number before his house blew up.
Yeah. Huh.
Interesting.
Tyler at some point says the things you own end up owning you, which I thought was really poignant.
Yes, very interesting.
Helena's sex cries are hilarious. And then right after I put that, you could hear Brad Pitt grunting, and I was like, speaking of, Brad's grunts are also hilarious.
Sex scenes have got to be the most awkward.
They were really... yeah. Tyler fights with Lou. We completely skipped over that. Lou's the owner of the property.
Yeah. And he's, like, laughing in his face.
Yeah.
Have I told you the story about my mom and cousins are really close to the same age. And the cousins, there were 3 boys and 2 girls. And, well, sorry, that's not right. There were 2 boys and 3 girls.
Okay.
So the oldest is a girl, and then the 2 boys, and then another girl. So there's an age gap, and she would run around with the boys all the time. So she was, like, super tough.
Right.
She was built like a,
Yeah.
So the younger one would bug her, and then they would start physically fighting. And
as siblings do.
And she would straddle her, and she would just be hitting her with her fists, right?
Okay.
And instead of crying or trying to defend herself, the younger one would just laugh.
That's crazy.
Yes,
Is she in jail now?
Probably. I don't know.
Because
she would just laugh in her face because it would just it would make the older sister absolutely lose her mind.
Yeah, dude.
Because she's just like laughing at her. Like her face is like blood red. Sometimes there's blood.
Yeah.
And she's still just like laughing at her. And so every time I watch that scene, I think of that story because my mom would just be like, "What the hell?" Like,
yeah, that's insane.
My mom wouldn't say what the hell.
No,
what
she'd
the heck?
be like.
But anyway, it always makes me think of that.
It's an intense scene. I put in my notes, have I mentioned that Brad Pitt is really attractive in this? Not just looks-wise, but line-wise. Like, some of the stuff he says, I was like...
He has, like, a smirk
Talk to me.
Talk to me. He has, like, a smirk that he does a lot in this movie that's, like, super sexy.
The narrator starts running, and he's running through the street, and he almost gets hit by a station wagon after he leaves the police station.
Yes.
And he's just running down the street in his boxers. I literally, like, I squealed when he almost got hit by the car. I was like, and then we have the fight scene that gets caught on the camera.
And he's beating himself up.
Yeah.
Tyler has a really funny line. After he runs in his underwear to that building, Tyler's just like, what are you doing? Crazy. You're not wearing pants. You look like a crazy person. And that's it. Just the irony of that line is so funny.
It was I laughed really hard when Brad Pitt started hitting Edward Norton with his shoe.
Yeah.
Like, I just busted out laughing. That was hilarious. That whole end fight, like, that was like the last 20 or so minutes of the movie was so tense. And then... you know, he, as we said, he puts the gun in his mouth. He's like, I see you. I know that you're not real. Kills him.
Really interesting way to overcome that.
It was very interesting. And then Marla's super pissed at him.
Yep.
Super pissed at him. And then she sees his face. Mm-hmm. And her face just changes. Mm-hmm. And...
Which is, I guess, the first time you realize that she has real feelings.
She is legitimate feelings. She's not just there for the sex.
Right. And the weird like repartee that they have, it's not just that. There's something there for her.
Yeah. And then, you know, they come together. Mm-hmm. And the buildings explode. And I appreciate that it's like Tyler is gone.
But the effects of Tyler.
Well, Tyler is gone, so... now I'm going to call him Tyler. Brad Pitt is gone, so now Edward Norton and Marla get a clean slate. And if we're going by Project Mayhem, so does everyone else. Because there's now no credit card debt. There's no debt. Mm. Mm-hmm. And then I really liked that this whole movie is basically just a man's fight with his own mental illness. Mm-hmm. And
the
it
director
shows how serious it can be.
Or it might have been the writer. I read a quote where he was saying that this is a coming-of-age film for people in their 30s. Like
really?
That second stage of adult life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a coming-of-age film for that, which... I guess it could be... That's not how I interpret it at all, but I think it's interesting that someone could.
Yeah, I just see it probably because I have my own mental disorders that I fight with. I was just like, it's really neat. Obviously, I know that they say he's got insomnia. And maybe it's just he's so sleep deprived that he's slipping into this other personality. Mm-hmm. But it really feels like maybe he's schizophrenic.
Well, it also seems like his insomnia might be a natural defense against Tyler. Like, if he's slipping into Tyler when he falls asleep, like, maybe it's his mind's way of being like, we can't...
Stay awake.
Yep.
If you fall asleep, you're done.
So
Freddy Krueger's coming.
Right. So who's our MVP?
I don't know.
This is not a movie that has heroes in it.
No. I love Bob.
I like Bob.
But I wouldn't say that he's...
The MVP?
The MVP. But I do like him a lot.
I mean, Tyler Durden makes this
Which
movie.
One?
Well, I mean, Brad Pitt and the way that he portrays that character really makes this... Shut up. Really makes this movie, like, pop.
Excuse me, laptop. Can't you see that we're recording right now and you need to be quiet?
Silenced my cell phone, but it still went off. And now my computer's like, me too. So, like, he really makes the movie. I feel like if any other actor portrayed this, it just would not be the same.
It would just be crazy.
His, like, chemistry with Edward Norton is really good. Just everything about the way... I mean, he didn't dress himself, obviously. There's a costume designer. Right. The way they dress him, the way he carries himself.
Yes.
The way that he delivers the lines.
Yes.
Just everything about it.
He says, I look how you want to look. I fuck how you want to fuck. I say what you want to say. Mm-hmm. Who else are you going to cast but Brad Pitt?
Oh, yeah. Like how else do you want to look, bro?
I mean, I don't have experience sleeping with Brad Pitt, but I imagine it's not bad. Right. It may not be...
Like, I'm not going to say that I have imagined it, but if I had... I think it would be all right.
I think it'd be okay. I don't think it would be the worst sex I've ever had.
I don't think I'd be kicking him out of bed.
I might.
You know?
Depends. Is he a big cuddler?
Oh, it would be hard to cuddle with someone that has that much, like, muscle. No fat.
No, I need a nice dad bod.
Right? I need
to really snuggle into.
Yes. Something soft.
A little fleshy.
All right.
Neither of our husbands are fat BT jobs. They're just fleshy.
Right. So we don't really have an MVP.
No, I'd say it's a 3-way tie.
What's your verdict?
Watch it.
Definitely
watch it several times.
I think it's another movie where if you have sensitive sensibilities, that's not really the right term. But like if you're
easily triggered,
if you find things offensive that some people think you shouldn't,
if you're a pansy,
just skip it. But otherwise, I think this is a movie that everybody should see
if you're
once.
super religious.
Like, this is a movie I would recommend to my friends.
I don't remember what the line was, but there's something Brad Pitt says, and I was like, immediately, and I'm not even a religious person, but as he was saying the line, I was like, ooh, Brad Pitt, you were going to hell for that one. Straight to hell. I don't remember what it was, but immediately I was like, you are done.
Yeah, I haven't been fucked like that since grade school line. Always. Like, I've watched this movie several times, and every time I hear it, I'm like, what did she just say? All right, so I think that's pretty much it for Fight Club. And that's also it for Cult Classics. This was our last Cult Classics episode.
At least for now.
Yes, we could revisit it.
Sure.
I mean, we didn't hit them all. We probably didn't even hit the highlights. I'm sure people have opinions about that. Not that we're hearing any.
Us. Yeah, if you guys want to let us know, that'd be cool. Of course, by the time this airs, maybe you have let us know. In which case, keep letting us know.
You can contact us on social media. Like us, give us a 5-star review, because if we said it once, we've said it a million times.
We've said it at least 10 times.
At least 10 times. 5 stars or bust.
5 stars or bust. Give us all the 5-star reviews. Hit us up on iTunes, Facebook. I don't think Twitter lets us review. You don't have to have an iPhone for an iTunes account. No.
BT dubs.
Hit us up on Google Play.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. If you can find us on it, give us 5 stars.
We have a blog feed. Or
we don't even care what you say. We don't even care what you say in your 5-star review. Be like, Vickie's laugh is obnoxiously loud. Sure it is.
It's a sensitive spot for Vickie. This week I sent her a screenshot of the visual of her laugh when I'm editing, and I think
it is very long
and very big and very big.
And if anybody wants to get a tattoo of it, hit us up. We'll send you the picture. Send us a picture of the tattoo.
We are on Facebook, Drama Mamas Podcast. We are on Twitter at Drama Mamas Pod. And if all of that is just too much for you, we have a Gmail. It is dramamamaspodcast@gmail.com. Let's see. We've talked about having a poll for what we're going to do next.
We have discussed it. We're not completely sure yet. We have a couple different ideas of what we'd like to do.
Yeah, but we do want to get started at some point in the near future. I'm thinking probably like a month or so. We're probably going to get started.
Yeah.
And there won't be a month gap in episodes because we record way ahead.
Yeah.
But we're thinking like... I would be down for heist movies, spy movies. We talked about John Hughes films.
Yeah, I mean, this episode won't air until December 11th.
I'm so glad you're on top of that because I have no idea.
Well, I looked at it earlier because I was like, oh, we could do holiday movies.
Mm-hmm. But we don't want to be doing that into January.
No, because as Sarah knows, and now you all are going to know, I hate Christmas past Christmas. Like, I'll give you the 26th, but after that, you better have your fucking lights down, your tree down, no more fucking presents, no more fucking shit. I don't want to see it. No more Santas, no more elves. I am the fucking Grinch. But my heart did not grow 3 times that day.
We've talked about Vickie having an expiration date, and that applies to Christmas.
Yeah. And you know what? Fucking Walmart. It's still October. It's not even Halloween yet as of this recording. Sorry, that's how far ahead we are.
Right. It's not Halloween yet.
Why do you already have Christmas shit out on display? First, you didn't respect the bird. Now you're not respecting the fucking ghouls. It makes
so if
me
you have opinions,
angry. I'll punch Walmart in their face. What up, Fight Club?
So if you have opinions on the podcast, if you have opinions on stuff we should cover, if you have opinions on Halloween decorations versus Christmas decorations, or when Christmas decorations should be taken down. By the way, it's New Year's. That's when they should be taken down.
By the way, it's right after Christmas.
They go
Christmas
up,
Day, preferably.
Black Friday. They
Christmas
come down,
Day.
New Year's.
No, if I got my way,
That's
they
a
would
fact,
go
bro.
up. No, dude. Christmas decorations go up on my birthday.
No, December 2nd?
Yeah.
Yes.
They go up on my birthday. They come down preferably on Christmas, like that evening.
Oh, God. Why would you want to spend Christmas taking down
Christmas?
The most depressing thing about Christmas is taking down the decorations.
I love giving people things. Okay? I love buying gifts for people.
Dirty.
Shut up. I love, I enjoy, the gift giving. Mm-hmm. Getting is iffy. You have to know me.
Right.
To buy for me. If you don't
I got
really
you a
know
cool
me.
necklace. Was that for your birthday or for Christmas last year?
Christmas. It chills in my soap dish in my bathroom. That way, if I have guests, it just shines up at them and says, "Fuck you."
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Either way.
There's this really cool necklace at that Lunchbox.
I have not been to him.
It's like, it looks like the time turner, and when you spin it, it says "fuck off," but otherwise it just looks like this geometric design. But when it spins, it says "fuck off." I want it so bad.
That's
so cute.
Rad. I feel like I could
and
wear
you could
that
just
to
wear
work.
it because it's until you spin it.
Yeah.
It just looks really cool.
Oh man, I would. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cute.
But I just don't love Christmas.
Oh God.
Which is crazy because I love giving to, I love buying stuff for people that I love. Mm-hmm. And I love seeing their expression when they enjoy. Shut the fuck up. When they enjoy what I've got for them, because I put a lot of thought into it normally. But Christmas, I hate Christmas music. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it for 3 weeks. And then I don't.
I noticed last year, it didn't seem like they started playing Christmas music until the 20th of December.
Are you fucking kidding me? Last year, not last year, 2 years ago at work, the fucking guy outside my office started playing Christmas music the first week of November. You know what I did? I slammed my office door.
That's mature of you.
He sat right outside of it. Fuck you. Don't hit me with Christmas music before December 1st.
Is there anything that you want to say looking back over the first 10 episodes of the Drama Mamas?
I was right. Podcasts are fun to do.
Oh, okay.
I was also right in that I feel like it's made us closer.
Oh, yeah.
As friends.
Yeah, I really like
we've been
hanging out.
Forced together, sort of. Well, not forced, but
we were okay before, geez.
Yeah, but we weren't hanging out by ourselves.
Yeah, I think next Friday is going to feel weird if we don't
see each other. We're not going to see each other, and I'm going to be like, wait a second. My Sarah senses are tingling. I've not gotten enough Sarah in my life this week. I didn't get at least 6 hours of recording time. What is this? I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. It's been a learning experience, probably more for you than it has for me. I feel really guilty sometimes if I catch myself thinking about it, because I feel like you do a lot of the legwork.
Nah.
And I don't want it to become a thing that's not fun for you.
It is. It's fun for me. The thing is, I used to cut music for some friends of ours that have, a cheerleading group. And so anytime they were doing a dance routine, I would cut the music for them. And
right.
When I was bored, I used to try to cut together videos from shows that I liked because...
Did you try to import porn pictures in between them?
I did not, but okay. I should have.
You should have.
No, these will never see the light of day because they're super
bad.
Yeah, they're not good.
It makes
but
me
it was
think
a
of,
fun exercise.
It makes me think of the poetry I wrote in high school.
Yes, it's a bit like that, where I'm just like, no, nobody should see that ever.
Let me delete this off the internet,
but
I'll
like,
screenshot it
6
first.
hours is just to like try to edit videos.
Yeah.
And I like to edit pictures. I like putting together our title pages, which I'm sure no one looks at. Like, probably no one has ever really looked at them, but they are so fun to make. And it's just like 10 or 15 minutes of my time.
Really?
I can just put them together, yeah.
You're impressive.
No.
I think you're impressive.
The first one took more like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I have a template, so I can just like plug in what I need. But it's fun for me. Like, the most frustrating thing was getting on iTunes.
I'm glad, because I worry that, like,
I have a lot more free time, I think, than most of my friends, because I stay home with my kids.
But
we fill our days. I homeschool. The kids have a lot of activities. I do other things. But I feel like
her kids have a lot of activities.
Yeah, well, they're homeschooled, so I don't want them to, like, be weird. So I'm just like, do shit.
I work 40 plus hours a week, but I feel like you do a lot more stuff than I do. So I wouldn't say that you have more free time than I do.
I have more flexible time.
That's true.
That's, I think.
Because I have, like, my shit is scheduled out. But
yeah, it's fun. I like to edit.
Yeah.
I like posting it. I like being in control of that stuff, because it makes me feel a little more like I'm a control freak.
I know. I changed the order of one of the tabs on Facebook yesterday. I was like, I'm an admin and I can change stuff, and so I changed that, and I was like, ha ha ha! I'm in control of this.
I didn't notice. Now I'm gonna have to go look at it.
I think I just moved where, like, photos came before videos, because we don't have any videos.
Right. I had a friend, I was messaging her, and she was saying that she enjoyed our podcast. And I got really excited because, honestly, I don't know who's listening. I don't know if anybody's listening.
I know, like, Zach keeps saying that he intends to listen. But he also works in an office.
And you have a loud laugh.
I have a very loud laugh. I'm working on it. These last 2 episodes should be pretty okay, because I'm sick, so I've not laughed as robustly.
The last episode that we posted, this is showing you how far ahead we record. The last episode that we posted was the Mallrats episode.
Yes.
And I listen to it. I know it sounds narcissistic, but like when I post it, I want to make sure that it goes through. So I'll listen to it when it pops up on my phone.
Oh, dude.
I subscribe, guys.
I listen to it when you tell me that you're done editing and it's in the drive. I listen to it then. And then once it's posted, I listen to it then. Like our intro episode, I listened to that at least 5 times.
Luke, he comes home after I posted the Mallrats episode, and he was like, hey, there's something wrong with your Mallrats episode. I'm like, what? He goes, you guys are talking about Veronica Mars, and then, like, you skip forward. And I'm like, no, I've listened to that, and there's no skip. And he was like, no, there is. And so, like, I went back and listened to it again. I'm like, no, your fat fucking fingers must have just hit it and, like, skipped ahead. Like, that is not me, bro. But I was like, oh my God, like, as if anyone had listened to it that quickly. But it was just like, oh my God, is it messed up? And it wasn't.
No.
But I think it's been fun. I've really enjoyed the extra time that we've had to hang out. Yeah. And
I appreciate the time we've had. It's been good.
I think so. And like I like having something new to do. Like editing, all the audio stuff is really fun.
And that's a skill you can use later if you choose to. You'd be like, hey, I do all of the producing of this podcast.
That's right. I'm a producer now, guys.
Hopefully successful.
Oh my God. I'm really bad about underselling myself. Which is why I'm not good in interviews.
Well, here's the thing about this particular podcast. You could say, oh yeah, I produce the Drama Mamas podcast. But then they probably would want to listen to our podcast. And we say a lot of fuck.
But it sounds good when we say it. Well, good is a strong word. It sounds, when we say it.
It sounds like something.
It's audible.
It's audible. It's Oh, let's not say Audible because they're not paying us.
Oh, you know what we should do? I mean, obviously we did our favorite movies first.
Yes.
But what do you think was...
Except for Heather's.
I meant Rocky Horror and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But, like, what do you think was the most fun episode to record?
Ooh.
Let's see. Let's look back on what we've done.
We did the intro. We did Rocky Horror. We did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. We did Mallrats, Princess Bride, Labyrinth. What came after Labyrinth? Heather's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What's episode 6?
Oh, Labyrinth, and then
Office Space.
Office Space. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Which is, it doesn't sound like it was because I couldn't remember it.
We did
and
Office
then
Space,
Heather's. And then
Monty Python.
No. We did Heather's, and then we did something funny. We did something good.
Episode 8.
Oh, it was Saints. Boondock Saints.
Yeah. That
and
was
then
also fun.
Monty Python and Fight Club. The most fun episode, I don't know.
I really liked our Princess Bride. I had a lot of fun talking to you about that.
Yeah.
Because that's such a good movie.
I enjoyed Labyrinth because we had Sonia on, and that was an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I feel bad about that episode because we only have 2 mics. And so, like, the sound quality is not the greatest. Like,
right.
It's not horrible. It's not...
No, it's not unlistenable.
Right. I know. I wanted to say unwatchable, but that doesn't work.
If we choose to later, we could probably get a third mic, but... most podcasts that I listen to, when they have an unexpected guest, you get worse audio.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was fun because we watched the movie together, all 3 of us.
Yes, and we don't normally do that.
We did that a couple of times at the beginning.
Oh my gosh, but it takes so long.
Oh yeah, we did that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Oh my god, I didn't get to bed until like 2 a.m.
Yeah, and then your daughter's birthday party was the next day.
Yeah, oh, that's right. And I had like this huge allergy attack that morning.
Yeah.
It was just not a great day, to be honest. And then I skated, and one of my friends like fucking dislocated her elbow or some shit.
Fractured or...
Yeah, because it was a roller skating party, and she challenged me. I don't like to be challenged, guys. I don't like to be told I can't do something.
It's funny, because I really like competing.
Oh, no, that's why. It's because I'm competitive. And so if you tell me I can't do something, I will die trying.
Are your children still awake? Did I hear one of them?
Rory's got a cough.
Coughing.
Yep. And apparently she inhaled some cupcakes tonight. So I'm just hoping she doesn't throw up.
I don't blame you.
Yep. But anyway.
Is it midnight yet?
It is exactly midnight.
Yeah, boy. Taco Bell's.
So do you want to...
Oh, I didn't say what my favorite was. Oh, I said that I liked the one with Sonia.
Yeah, Labyrinth.
I liked all of them except for Heather's. Because that movie's stupid.
Yeah.
In case you guys didn't get it.
Pretty dumb.
Episode 6.
So, as always, remember to save the drama.
For these mamas.
Hell yeah. Until next time.